Would you rather have millions of views or true credibility? Because you can't have both if you use clickbait to grow. Friends, today I want to tell you why you should say no to clickbait, regardless of the potential benefits you might stand to gain from its use. Clickbait isn't new. Whether we're speaking about traditional journalism or modern digital media, misdirection and sensationalism have long been used as tools for attracting more eyes to a piece of work than it would otherwise have obtained. But pointing to engagement misses the main point. The issue with clickbait isn't just that it's misleading, though that in and of itself should give us reason to pause. It's that it fundamentally damages your credibility. It erodes your message, and it detracts from the pursuit of truth, broadly speaking. Let's unpack each of those 3 points. But before I do, what is clickbait? I define it fairly broadly, to the point where some of my own thumbnails would be considered borderline. After all, I'm a work in progress too. I would say clickbait includes any title or description that intentionally manipulates the emotions, distorts the expectations, or otherwise misleads an audience in order to entice them to click or watch something that would not otherwise have captured their attention. That's a decent working definition for our purposes here. First, clickbait destroys your credibility. Even if your content has actual substance behind the misleading headline or the sensationalized thumbnail, you're still chipping away at your audience's trust. First impressions matter. Clickbait is devastating to first impression. When people see clickbait associated with your work and your name, regardless of your intentions or your content's hidden value, their perception of your credibility gets chipped away, piece by piece, thumbnail by thumbnail. Even if you earn back the trust of those who click and actually watch your video, what about all the people who saw your title and thumbnail and decided not to watch? For them, your reputational damage has already been done. Second, it actually weakens your position. Whatever argument or perspective you're trying to defend, using clickbait actually makes it appear weaker. So if you're defending the truth, I urge you to respect your position enough to defend it well. Clickbait doesn't do that because clickbait is self-destructive. The initial impression of exaggeration or deception, no matter how small it seems to you, plants doubt in your audience's mind before they even begin to engage with your content, and regardless of whether they actually click. So even if they eventually come to recognize the substance behind that initial deception, the damage has already been done. That's because clickbait delivers instantaneous harm, while recovery, if it happens at all, is slow and uncertain. Number 3, it distorts the truth and spreads confusion. Zooming out, clickbait fuels skepticism and doubt on the macro level. Its mere existence makes it harder for people to discern what's true and what isn't, directly contributing to our culture of distrust. In a world already struggling with information overload, adding clickbait to the noise only makes things worse. So if you want to promote truth and encourage people to hope again, I urge you to remove clickbait from your arsenal. Now, I say all this as someone who acutely understands the temptation, as someone who has crossed the line at times and had to pull myself back. The promise of growth, engagement, and algorithmic success can make clickbait seem like an easy win, almost an inevitable outcome, but it's not worth it. It never has been, it never will be, no matter how digital technology evolves or how well we can read and analyze analytics. If you followed someone for a long time only to witness them eventually succumbing to the temptation to use clickbait, you know exactly what I mean. It changed your opinion about them, didn't it? How could it not? Beyond the inherent dishonesty, the most overlooked harm is to those who don't actually click. You might argue that the content itself is fair and reasonable once someone actually begins to watch, and that the clickbait is just to entice the click, a necessary evil or a white lie kind of a deal. But what about the people who see only the misleading title? Their perception is shaped exclusively by the distortion, and you're the one who's responsible for that. Your impact isn't just on those who watch. It also affects those who see your content, receive a false impression, and walk away. At worst, it even contributes to the rejection of the very truth that you were hoping to defend. At the end of the day, we have to prioritize creative integrity over audience engagement. Clickbait is a destructive force, not a creative one. We have a responsibility, not just to our audience, but to the broader world of truth and art, to the overarching conversations that we hope to start and contribute value to. Growth can certainly be achieved through manipulation. We have seen this time and time again throughout history. But that kind of growth is too hollow, too shallow. It comes at a cost too great to bear. True influence, the kind that lasts, is built on trust. And trust is something we should never sacrifice for a few extra clicks. Say no to clickbait, friends. Thanks for watching. Please let me know whether or not you agree with me in the comments, and please let me know why. If you liked this video, I encourage you to check out my behind the screens playlist, which is linked right here, or maybe it's right here. I will get that right one of these days. And as a practical side note, as a marketer, clickbait rarely attracts the right audience. Unless you want to solicit a sensationalist crowd, be wary of the engagement that clickbait elicits.